Hi, thanks for using my court coach. I'm Sarah, and I'll be your instructor today as we talk about summary dissolutions, as well as the booklet FL810 that describes what summary dissolutions are. Let me start off by saying this is a 22-page booklet. It is pretty comprehensive. However, I have taken the information and the highlights in this booklet and summarized them into this neat little one-sheet explanation of everything I think you need to know regarding summary dissolution. There are some other forms, and we will have other videos that discuss those in further detail, but I think this can basically summarize what those 22 pages says in a nutshell for you. So to start off with, what is a summary dissolution? It is a shorter, easier way to obtain a dissolution of marriage. How do you qualify for a summary dissolution? There are some requirements. You cannot have children together. This marriage or domestic partnership must be less than 5 years long. Neither of you can request spousal support as a result of this marriage or domestic partnership from the other. You have to be in agreement about how the assets and debts are to be divided. This whole process, by the way, hinges on agreement and cooperation between the two parties. So you guys need to be able to get along to at least be able to summarize to the court what the terms of your agreement are. Neither of you can own real property. The total value of your community property cannot be worth more than $45,000. And this is the net value, meaning that you take the fair market value of your assets and deduct what's owed on them. And that balance has to be $45,000 or less. This does not include the value of your cars. The total net value of either of your separate property belongings cannot be worth more than $45,000 either. And again, that's not including cars. The total value of your community obligations, your debts, other than cars, has to be $6,000 or less. Provided you meet all these qualifications, then you can file for a summary dissolution. Some important facts to keep in mind with a summary dissolution: just like with a regular divorce, there is a 6-month waiting period from the time you file your petition for summary dissolution and the soonest you can get divorced. During that 6-month waiting period, either of you may seek to revoke the joint petition for summary dissolution if you change your mind or have a change of heart about it. So there's a specific form that you would file to do that. That's a notice of revocation. We will cover that in a separate video. Just like with a divorce, you do still need to comply with the requirements to exchange preliminary declaration of disclosure forms or their equivalent. So how does the process work? You would first, unlike a divorce where you file first and then serve your disclosure forms, you would first exchange your preliminary declaration of disclosure forms or equivalent. The FL810 booklet does have some worksheets in there that you could use if you don't want to use the declaration of disclosure forms. You will need to then file a joint petition for summary dissolution, and that basically just goes over these factors above here, and you just have to check the boxes saying that you don't have children, you don't own real property, etc. And then you would submit a written agreement along with a judgment and notice of entry of judgment that includes the terms of your agreement and how the assets and debts that you do have are to be divided. If there are assets and debts, if there's not, then there's no need for a written agreement. You can just submit the judgment and notice of entry of judgment form. The beauty of this process is you can do this all at once. You can exchange your disclosure forms, file your joint petition for summary dissolution, along with your written agreement with the judgment and notice of entry of judgment. You would just list a date on that judgment form that is 6 months out from the time that you are filing, and that can potentially be your only trip to the courthouse you have to make. So when we say that this is an easier process, that's what we are talking about. As stated, this is a 22-page booklet that gives you everything you need to know on summary dissolution. It's our goal here to provide that information to you, and we're going to have videos that provide more in-depth explanation of the different forms that you'll be needing to file, as well as how to prepare a settlement agreement to attach to your judgment. So I hope you found this helpful. Thank you.